Hello everybody, it is your professor, Rocco your boy, coming at you once again with another Age of Sigmar video. In this 101 class, we're going to talk about Monstrous Rampages, when to use them, which ones to use. So come along with me as we jump right into this slideshow. So first off, what are they, when are they used? Here's the list, but let me explain. Alright, so at the end of the charge phase, starting with the player's turn, players go through and do Monstrous Rampages. Alright? Now, you can only do one of these, like, one time in your army. So, like, if I have 4 monsters, one can roar, one can stomp, one can Titanic duel, one can smash to rubble. Nice, easy, straightforward, done. I can't have 2 of them roar, 3 of them stomp. That's it. Get that out of your head right now. Next, we're going to just go over here this, start off with Roar. Now, Roar is we pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of this model, because then we just finish the charge, and we roll the dice. On a 3-up, that unit cannot issue or receive commands in the following combat phase. Humongous for messing up synergies. Then we've got Stomp. You pick an enemy unit within 3 again that isn't a monster, because if they're 2 monsters, they're not going to be kicking each other. They're going to be biting and clawing at each other, not kicking the little Humie down by their ankles. But on a 2-up, the opposing unit takes D3 mortal wounds. Nice, straightforward. There's monsters that already have a rule similar to this, but if you run into something that has a really nice save characteristic, and you just need to dumpster them in mortal wounds, fantastic option. Number 3, Titanic Duel. And, this is, again, you see a monster, I see a monster, they're going to saunter up and beat the snot out of each other, Godzilla versus King Kong style. This is your +1 to hit when you're fighting an enemy monster. You have to put every attack in here to really get the worth out of it, because really it's for attacks that only target that enemy monster. And if you're splitting attacks, like, why are you doing this? You need to play and just have that big kaiju monster fight, right? And the last thing is Smash to Rubble. This is actually if you're within 3 inches of a terrain feature that has rules. Usually they're faction terrain, they're defensible terrain, you can put garrisons inside. You can beat it up on a 3-up and get rid of its rules and all its special abilities. Think like the Ossiarch Bone Reaper faction terrain piece. Just punt it out of existence. But not literally, because that thing's expensive. Now, we've said when they're used, how you use them. And before I continue, I'm going to say this. We're going to bring back the traditional word of the week. So if you've been following along some of my other videos here, every once in a while I'll drop a word in the comments to see if you guys and gals are actually paying attention. The word of the week this week is potato. And back to a regularly scheduled programming here. Now, next slide. Rocco, which one do you actually like? And it's Roar. It's not even close. It's turning off those synergies, because so many people, when building their lists, put in buff heroes that aren't to buff themselves. They're not strong. They don't have a bunch of abs. Their whole point is making the units around them in the army work and getting as much power projection and all the buzzwords, all the synergies, out of the army that they can. And to be able to turn off a hero from issuing commands to other stuff that would make them so dangerous is just huge. And even then, if you need to take out a unit, roar at them so they can't all-out defense. You know that they only hit on 4s, or you're fighting another monster and you don't want to worry about stacking things or worry about... No, roar at them. Stop them from being able to all-out defense, from all-out attacking. Stop them from benefiting from other command abilities from these heroes. Just roar. You know why? because D3 Mortal Wounds is great, but you probably already have an ability that does that on an impact hit. And, you know, you on a 2-up, you on average, you're going to get 2 wounds, right? Because it's a D3. Great. I'm probably overkilling them anyway, but you know what'll make me get more wounds through is if they're not all out defensing to give themselves +1 to save in the combat phase. So, you know, just cripple all the synergies, people. Roar when you can. Stomp if you need to. But really, you probably just need to roar. Alright, so why am I even doing this video? Why are we talking about this class here? Why is it important to know when to roar, when to stomp versus Titanic Duel? And the reason I don't even have the Destroy a Faction Terrain thing on here, you gotta be next to the faction terrain to do it. That's when you do it. That beginning, end of that statement. Now, not enough people are protecting their important units with the Hunters of the Heartlands Battalion. There's a lot in list building. We've been seeing a lot of battle regiments trying to get 1-drops. There's a lot of 5-drops or 4-drops when they're doing a command entourage or a warlord battalion, for example, which we've covered in previous videos, what they are when you're doing your list buildings and trying to utilize your stuff through battalions. Nobody is taking... well, not enough people, really, I should say, are taking the Hunters of the Heartlands, which protect your units from having these Monstrous Rampages done onto them. And it's a shame, because you know what? I love taking that battalion because it allows me to protect my hammers and my anvils, and right here on the slide, as a quick refresher for those of you that have been here for a while but might forget what the jargon is, and some people who are just brand new to the channel, hi, thank you for subscribing and liking and commenting and potatoing. You know what a hammer unit is and what an anvil unit is, because that is your damage dealers for the hammers, and the anvils, they soak up the damage, protect your army, and they live long enough to score you points. Sometimes it's the same unit that fills both roles. Sometimes you need to have specialty units for it. But you know what? If you're telling me I can have my Chilean guard that I can, through a little bit of jank, I'm going to be honest, a little bit of jank, make them a 2-up save, not have to worry about taking mortal wounds, not have to worry about being roared so they can actually get to the 2-up save, I'm taking the Hunters of the Heartland Battalion every chance I get. And if you're telling me that I'm going to be able to get like an Achillean Alopex's melee attacks on its good bite attack, down to be 2s to hit and 2s to wound from other buffs I'm applying to get that -2 Rend 2 damage attacks through, because I can all-out attack in the combat phase due to the Hunters of the Heartlands Battalion, that is so important for me. I'm taking that battalion. But not everybody is. And when they aren't, and they have their Alopexes out in the breeze, and you see them there, you are going to roar at them to just shut them up and stop them from either living long enough to hurt you or from hurting you. And remember, these happen at the end of the charge phase. It's both players' monsters that get to do it. And there's been times, even with the terrain destroying one, where like by the bottom of battle round 1, because it happened in their charge phase and then my charge phase, my opponent took out both of my ships, my ship halves for my Deepkin army, because of just smartly positioning a spare monster they had near them. And that's great. But people are going to get around relying on their faction terrain because of how easy it is now to be destroyed. So you got to be really sharp on when to roar versus when to stomp and when to Titanic Duel. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. You know, like, subscribe, keep this channel growing. We have gone way over 500 subscribers. I'm so happy. So is Rocco, your girl, who is in the background here helping us out. And also, as a fun bit, if you want to see me put all this stuff into practice to know I'm not just talking, you know, and blowing hot air everywhere, I've been doing some battle reports with the Pants Mafia over on their YouTube channel. I'd love for for y'all to come over and watch and support us as we're playing games and having fun on Tabletop Simulator. So, again, thank you for watching, Potato. And also, as I like to say at the end of every class, class dismissed.